It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. And we, meaning myself and Team DFS, are in Vista today doing a maintenance on a 1-year-old installation. Our client has a birthday on Christmas Day, and it's just a couple days till her birthday. So she had hoped that we could get this in before then, and here we are. So just wanted to kind of walk it with you. I have Greg here checking the irrigation. She had some concerns that this area of the garden seemed drier than areas to the left. And that may be an irrigation issue, but more than likely it's a microclimatic issue. This probably gets more heat and more sun than the other areas of the garden, and that is why things probably appear to be drier. But we're going to check it out anyway. A couple things I wanted to point out. Here, the Kalanchoe luciae. This is a monocarpic plant. We've talked about this. They grow long bloom stalks and then they die. So the terminal bud, the bloom stalk has already grown out. The gardener cut it, but look at how raggedy that plant looks. You know, this is not a good look. Look at this pup right here. Look how compact and tight that is. This one has not bloomed out, and it looks like a Kalanchoe luciae should look. So with these, you want to just cull, get rid of them, and then I can underplant around here with other things to fill in the space. So I didn't disturb the root system, I haven't harmed the plant, and the chances are good that this Kalanchoe will continue to throw off offsets all around and give us another season of beauty. In the meantime, because I don't want to look at this emptiness, I can take other plants. Stand up. Hannah says stand up. I can take other plants from other areas of the garden and tuck in around it to kind of conceal the cuts that I've made. Easy. Oh gosh, look at this happy accident. Crassula undulata and Echeveria harmsii ruby slippers. Tell me that is not a gorgeous combo. And this is what I talk about when I talk about tapestries, when I talk about mosaics, and how when you plant succulents close together, as time passes, they knit together so beautifully. And this is an example of that miracle happening in real time. I really like all of my jades. This was a challenge here because it's a very narrow space and it's a very hot space, and I didn't want to plant things that were going to flop over onto the sidewalk or grow run-amucky, so I needed things that had more of an upright presentation. The blue elf is doing really well. Even this cotyledon, long fingers, still looks really, really good. I'm going to go to Waterwise after I shoot this intro and pull some more plants that I can bring in. Maybe some more Echeveria. The Saharas have done really well in here. Maybe some more of these Zwartkopf aeoniums, some more of the Kalanchoe luciae. Just things that'll kind of be a nice contrast against all of this green. Here's an area where we had some gophers. They're rough this year. I have had them too, and I had neighbors stop me today as I was leaving and ask me for advice on what to do in their yard with their gophers. But what we're going to do is just clean up, re-rock, and pray. And that is my strategy as far as that goes. I brought some really cool aloes with me, some Cameronii and some Grenadiensis that I might be able to pop in. There were some areas here in the courtyard, albeit a shady area, there are some pockets of sun, and some of the bromeliads just fried. So I need to make choices. I need to find things that are going to be better suited and still give us that kind of strappy look. So I thought maybe the Cameronii might be a nice choice. Also, many of you remember in February of this year on January. Sorry, February is John's birthday. Hannah's birthday on January 5th, we came and hung this beautiful vertical. So we are here today to do maintenance on that. So you can see that I went to Oasis Water Efficient yesterday and I bought plants. So what we're going to do is take all of these apart, shake off most of the dirt and a lot, in some cases take off the roots too, and just pop new plants in between the chicken wire This is packed with sphagnum moss, and we will just get this looking really, really terrific. They took off a ton of Tradescantia wandering Jew that was coming out into the sidewalk. This is a winter grower. So if you've got Tradescantia now, don't be afraid to do what Terry did and just cut it back hard. And again, you can take plants to kind of plant around it if you want to soften the look. The Mangave Jaguars have done spectacular. It looks like something actually chewed on the cactus, which Hannah thinks it might have been the vole, or who knows. I had a gopher eat one of the Dickeas in my garden, and those things are vicious. So I asked the client, do you want us to replace the plant? And she said, no, just if we could just turn the pot 180 degrees. The backside of this cactus looks okay, and you can see that it's healed itself. So this is just cosmetic damage. But yeah, you know, things are a little run-amucky. The aloe vera's gotten really huge. The agave bracteosa, this shade-loving agave, I've got a few of these in this garden. They look great. The sansevieria is starting to get its legs. In here, the bromeliads did great. Look at this. Fantastic Euphorbia trigona and all of the new growth that it has on it. This is really, really deep shade here too, and the trigona is doing well. This euphorbia over here, lambii, is looking good. If this gets too cold, it will drop its leaves. So that's what this is happening here. This yellowing is just from some snaps of cold. But yeah, we've got Tradescantia in here, bromeliad, string of pearls, and this is a full shade presentation, and it is doing very, very well. Okay, so we are all done. Today I was helped by Kevin, Blonde Terry, Hannah, and Greg, and we knocked this out real quick. Those of you that remember this installation can really appreciate how it's matured over the last year. It's just absolutely stunning. The bromeliads that weren't doing so hot over here, we replaced with some Cameronii and some other tougher specimens. There's an aloe back there. Mostly they were doing fine. The Tradescantia has been cut back, and then I staged a bromelia to kind of cover that up. Yeah, I've hosed down everything. For those of you that may be wondering, this rock is called basalt. And it's just absolutely stunning. And it's so fun to be able to use the black pots on this installation. I thought, many of you ask about verticals and how often to water. And because we do ours with sphagnum moss, not soil, they do dry out very quickly. So as often, literally, as you want, you can take your hose on the mist setting and just give them a really, really good shower. Now this is just there, you can almost hear the plant saying, ah. Yes, most of these plants are cuttings, so they're not going to do a whole lot with this water. Right now, this is more just to set the plants in, rinse off any dust or debris. Succulent plants will take water in through their leaves too, so this doesn't hurt. And, I would do this, if this were mine, I would do this every single day in the morning, early hours. These two vertical planters we're taking home. I didn't do these originally. These the client bought already planted out. And we're going to convert them into an easier, they're just not made well in the sense that we can't really fix them. So we're going to redo them and replant them and rehang them at another time. Oh yes, and this corner pot here with the lambii, I did plant a little philodendron in here, a variegated philodendron that I couldn't resist. It's not a succulent, but the client has promised me that she'll keep an eye on it and water it. It just looks so good. Then we had some gopher damage over here that we had to clean up. But for the most part, gophers don't really bother the succulents. They just make a big mess. So once we cleaned up all the dirt, and cleaned up the underside of the leaves that had gotten dried out, this just looks amazing. I did add this I did add this Grenadiensis right here. And this little Aeonium. And this little arrangement of plants right there. And I added some fresh pebble work. We had a big gopher over here. I moved the Sahara. It was in the front right here, and I just dug it up and moved it to the back, filled in the gopher hole, restaged the Aeonium Zwartkopf, added a few cute little things down there, tightened up this little arrangement right here. And yeah, you know, so much fun. I love these maintenances. This is all on subterranean drip irrigation, and it goes off about once a week for a few minutes at a time. Whatever it's doing its job. This area out here didn't need a whole lot from me. There were some things that were starting to work their way onto the sidewalk. So I literally just pulled them out and set them further back against the wall and then underplanted with some little moonstones and some echeverias. Again, these Echeveria ruby slippers are just so stunning. So I think that Rebecca is going to be in really good stead, you know, for the foreseeable future. This is a really tight installation that survived a really hot summer, survived a cold winter here in Vista, and has just done exceptionally well. I am so pleased. So again, I want to thank all of you for following. I want to thank you all for supporting my channel through joining and through buying merch. We are going to be offering some new merchandise soon, so stay tuned there. Like this video and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.